SBR Industry News is sponsored by William Hill.
Hi, I'm Natalie Rystrom with this week's Industry News Update, reporting for SportsbookReview.com. Now, what in the world is going on in Germany? That's the question 7 operators issued gaming licenses in the northern German state of Schleswig-Holstein early this year are asking. Betfair, bwin, Bet365 and 4 other large sports betting companies purchased gaming licenses in that state. After the German election, the SPD party took control and suggested it will return to the controversial interstate gambling treaty. If this happens, the gaming licenses negotiated with Schleswig-Holstein might be voided. Despite this fact, one sportsbook executive speaking on condition of anonymity remained hopeful, telling SBR the following. In terms of the new government, they've so far indicated that they will honour the original licenses, and we are taking that at face value. We will keep you up to date with this story as it progresses. Now, a sportsbook scam alert has been issued on globalwagering.ws. The startup sportsbook surfaced on July 5th and wasted no time before spamming forums with bonus offers. Global Wagering's 5 employees operate from a small rented office in Nicaragua. The book's manager is Jarrett, a former sales clerk with a reputation of pocketing customers' lists from his time working in a former industry shops. According to the red flags was Global Wagering's refusal to document or provide a single reference on its investor backing. The sportsbook would only share that it has quote-unquote deep pockets and 25 plus years experience. SBR urges players to avoid the potential fly-by-night operation. In other news now, a Sportsbook.com US player has reported that a $10,000 payout is late. The player requested the withdrawal on June 7th. The payment carried a time frame of 6 to 8 weeks, and after that window passed, the player followed up and was eventually asked to switch payout methods. The player agreed and presently waits for the replacement payment. SBR has followed up with management. Sportsbook.com has of course sold its non-US player base to Win United Ltd, an operation in Malta which powers uWin and global.sportsbook.com. Now, SBR's lead dispute analyst, Justin Seven, has been working on several cases with uWin. And here to tell us more, we welcome him to the show. Justin.
Good afternoon, Natalie.
So you care to expand more on this case for us, please?
Yes, I have a new case against uWin where a player is accused of multi-accounting. uWin now has a new rule that they're using to deter fraudulent players. And if you look at this image here, it reads, if uWin detects multiple accounts which have been set up deliberately with misleading information, has displayed criminal behavior, or if Win United conclude that the account owner has fraudulent intentions, Win United shall be entitled to confiscate the funds, including the initial deposit. Now, this is very different from how all the other sportsbooks handle these type of cases. Normally, if an account is identified as a fraudulent account, all the transactions are voided and the deposit is refunded. Here, they're escalating it by saying not only are we going to void all your winnings, we're going to take the deposit.
Okay, and this obviously is to really deter people from scamming, but what happens if someone hasn't scammed?
That's a very good question. How do you know if a player has scammed? In this case here that I'm looking at, the player is accused of having 4 accounts. The player denies it, says he's only had 1 account. And I've had several disputes in the past where a sportsbook has accused a player of multi-accounting and the player was ultimately found to be innocent. Now, a problem with this current dispute is uWin hasn't provided any evidence yet, although we're still discussing it, to show that it actually is a fraudulent player. So, but this is, I guess, a shot across the bow in a major war, that is the sports books versus the fraudulent players, because there are literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in fraudulent losses by each of many different sports books sustained by fraud, as a result of fraudulent players.
And is there anything that we can recommend our viewers here to stay clear of this?
I would steer very clear of using any public internet, because if 2 different players use the same public internet site at Starbucks or at a public library or Burger King, it may look like a fraudulent case. Another thing I would suggest is that you not let anyone else bet from your computer, because if even your laptop, wherever you are, if they can track what computer 2 different players played from. And if 2 different players have the same tracking cookie, that may be suspected as fraudulent play.
Okay, and have you got any other stories for us, Justin, this week?
I have another one, as long as we're talking about you win, where a player received a free bet. He bet it and got his balance up to 104 euros. He asked for a payout, and he hadn't met his rollover. And what would normally happen if you ask for a payout and you haven't met your rollover is the sportsbook advises you haven't met your rollover. Are you sure you want to do this? UN didn't do that. They just said, nope, you haven't met your rollover, and because you asked for a payout, we're seizing your free bet and all your winnings, so your balance is now back to zero. So that was a little harsh. I talked to UBet and asked them if they would consider, changing their mind or letting the player reach the rollover. And the attitude was a person who just plays free bets is a bonus cheat. Not quite a fraudster, but they look at them with loathing. It was very surprising, the attitude that was given towards this player who'd really done nothing wrong except not read the rules closely.
And what's your opinion on this, Justin?
I think it's unfair to mug the player's balance, and they should give him a chance to meet rollover. But they've rejected that recommendation.
Right. Okay. Well, thanks a lot for joining us, Justin. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Natalie.
Thank you to you for tuning in. For SportsbookReview.com, I'm Natalie Rydstrom. Stay tuned and up to date with the sports betting world by checking out our SBR News playlists, clicking on the videos on the screen, and make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to get the news as and when it happens.